Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson, who also sits on the Senate Finance Subcommittee on Health Care. Senator, you are no doubt one of the Senate's foremost experts on health care. Your team posted some stats on social media recently showing the average increase on premiums 169% since 2013. Some states seeing a nearly 400% increase. Can you reform the system, or should Republicans go bold and try to replace it?
Well, the phrase I always use is we need to repair the damage done by Obamacare and transition to a system that actually works. And that begs the question, well, what's the damage? And I held a hearing assessing the damage on that. The problem with that is, my ranking member at the end of the hearing says, I don't know anybody who's been harmed by Obamacare. To which I replied, your own witness is a victim of Obamacare. She was a mom from Madison, lost her employer coverage in 2016. She was forced on the exchange, paid $1,000 a month, couldn't afford it, switched to a bronze plan with a $14,000 deductible, had health care issues, had to take out an $18,000 home equity line of credit. That's their witness. And he's saying, I don't know anybody harmed by Obamacare. So our problem is Democrats are in a complete state of denial. They're not going back and looking at what President Obama, all the lies he told about this. They're not acknowledging the fact that, no, it's Obamacare that caused premiums to skyrocket to that extent. So, again, you have to first admit you have a problem. Democrats aren't, so we're going to figure out how to do this through reconciliation or maybe get rid of the filibuster.
All right, so let's stipulate that it's broken. Right, Theo, but we've heard from Republicans before that they'd like to try to solve the problem. The architect of Obamacare, Dr. Ezekiel Emanuel, thinks that the reform efforts that are being discussed are kind of just smoke and mirrors. Watch this.
The Republicans had had 15 years since the passage of Obamacare in 2010 to come up with a proposal, and they've never come up with a replacement proposal. They have no ideas.
Senator, talk to us about some of the ideas that you would support to deliver more affordable care for Americans.
First of all, it's a completely false statement. What we haven't had is the ability to do so. We never had 60 senators to overcome the filibuster. Difficult to do it through reconciliation. They couldn't do the whole thing through reconciliation anyway. So, first of all, we want to protect people with pre-existing conditions. Now, the way to do that is reconstitute high-risk pools with some slight modifications. One of the big reasons that premiums on the individual exchanges are skyrocketing is because the faulty design forces that small percentage of the American population, about 7%, to bear the full cost of covering people with pre-existing conditions. You could have done that through high-risk pools, spread the cost over everybody with health insurance. That's not how they did it. So that you start there. Things like health savings accounts. You need to introduce consumers back into healthcare. You've got to get people with skin in the game. Bring in free market competition. It's, the free market guarantees the lowest possible price and cost, highest quality, highest level of customer service. Gee, wouldn't that be nice to have in healthcare?
Top aides like White House Domestic Policy Council Director Vince Haley, Deputy Director Heidi Overton, as well as Dr. Mehmet Oz, we're hearing are leading the internal deliberations. There have been some discussions recently about, among Republicans, about giving Americans money to purchase health insurance. How is that different than the current paradigm? Talk to us about that.
Well, again, I think the concept there is you put them into health savings accounts. Give them the freedom to buy any kind of insurance plan they want, not these highly prescriptive, plans that have skyrocketing premiums, things like short-term duration plans, association plans, catastrophic care plans, which, by the way, that's what Obamacare is. A plan that is a $14,000 deductible, when I was buying health care, those were called catastrophic plans, and they were dirt cheap. Now they cost $33,000 for somebody, just short of Medicare age. So again, it's been a complete disaster.
Real quickly, Senator, I want to switch gears with you and get your reaction to this. A group of Democratic lawmakers with military and intelligence backgrounds, they put out a very controversial video the other day because it seems that they want service members to defy the orders of the commander-in-chief. Take a look at this.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home. Our laws are clear.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
As a member of the Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs, your reaction to what I think is a pretty extraordinary effort on the part of Democrats and message to members of our military.
It is utterly disgusting. It is outrageous. They're inciting insurrection, just like the left incites violent protests. Again, the violence in our politics today has primarily come from the left. This, again, is disgusting and outrageous. They ought to retract it. They ought to apologize. There's just no room for that type of thing in today's America. That is just sick.
All right. Well, we're going to have to leave it there. But going back to health care, after 15 years of failure and Republicans perennially promising to replace the system, now may be the time, and we're going to be following your progress. Senator Ron Johnson, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Have a great day.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.